Happy Conference Championship weekend. This is Harvey's Huddle. I am Jackson Harvey. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a great episode for you today. Only 2 games to talk about, but great games this past weekend, and we've got some great matchups coming up this weekend in the NFL playoffs. It was very interesting for me to look through and gather all the information behind these different matchups this weekend, and I'm excited to talk about them with all of you. Really quick, just a shout out to the NFL. I think we've had a wonderful season, and knock on wood that nothing spectacularly out of the ordinary happens, but we've made it. We've almost made it to the Super Bowl, a complete season. Little to no interruptions due to COVID-19 and everything. So props to the NFL, props to the players, the league, the staff, the referees. It's been an awesome season, and I'm really excited for these 4 teams to play this weekend and for the Super Bowl down in Tampa. This conference championship weekend is kind of unique in a way. I don't know if there's been very many championship games where both games are rematches, let alone both of these games, Tampa Bay taking on Green Bay and Kansas City taking on Buffalo. Both of the previous games between these two teams happened in week 6 of this prior regular season. So a lot to go off of here, a lot of information to think about, although they did play back in week 6 and a lot of teams look a lot more different than they did in week 6. So just a lot of really good content. I'm really excited for this weekend. Check me out on Instagram at Harvey's Huddle, on Twitter at Harvey_Huddle, or on YouTube. Channel name is Harvey's Huddle. And let me know what you think about what I'm about to talk about and about the games this weekend. I did go a perfect 4-0 this past weekend, so I've gotten every single playoff prediction right, which made this prediction round very difficult for me. A lot of pressure that I have unnecessarily put onto myself, but I will continue to put that pressure onto myself if I get these 2 predictions right. I'm loving it. Thank you so much for listening. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. I'm going to take the NFC Championship first and foremost. I like to call it the Battle of the Bays. Green Bay taking on Tampa Bay. Tampa is 1 game away. Now, people aren't talking about this as much, I feel. Back when the Vikings made the Super Bowl in the 2017 season, a lot of people were talking about how Minnesota could be the first ever team to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium. Haven't heard so much chatter about it this year, and I think it's because so Tampa, they're 1 game away from playing the Super Bowl in their home stadium, but I don't think it means as much because there's just not going to be very many fans there. If it happens, of course it's this year that happens when we're down to 6,000 fans in a gigantic stadium. But if it happens, still good for them. This is also Aaron Rodgers' first NFC Championship game ever played at Lambeau Field. He's always been the away team in all of the championship games he's played in. So this is also the second championship game for Green Bay in a row. Matt LaFleur becoming one of only, I believe, 7 or 8 coaches ever to make back-to-back NFC or conference championships in his first 2 seasons. A lot coming out of here. Rodgers versus Brady, Tampa versus Green Bay. We've got a great defense taking on some great offense, and Tampa's defense and Green Bay's offense. And just a lot going on here. The MVP playing in Aaron Rodgers, well, most likely MVP. Let's talk about Green Bay first. Green Bay came out and punched the Rams in the mouth on Saturday. Rodgers went 23 for 36, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams combined for 164 yards on the ground and a touchdown as well. The defense for Green Bay limited Jared Goff to only 174 yards through the air and a passing touchdown, and Cam Akers did run for 90 yards and added a touchdown on the ground as well. Green Bay still hasn't allowed any more than 286 yards through the air this season, and including the one touchdown thrown by Jared Goff on Saturday, they have only allowed 24 passing touchdowns all season long. That is crazy. That is nuts. That is not a lot of touchdowns. That is about half of what Aaron Rodgers has thrown all season. So good for this Green Bay defense. They aren't doing too shabby. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, against New Orleans, they ran the ball down their throats, and they really shut down Drew Brees in that offense. Michael Thomas, of course, went without a single catch in that game, and Kamara wasn't very effective. Brees threw 3 interceptions, and Jared Cook added a crucial fumble. Tom Brady, he didn't have the most impressive stats, in my opinion. He was only 18 for 33 through the air. That's 54.5% completion percentage. 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think Brady would have had a lot more yardage through the air if he was given longer fields. Tampa's defense did a really good job on Sunday Night Football with giving Tom Brady short fields to work with, creating turnovers. And I think that's one of the aspects that makes Tampa such an intriguing team, is that they are really playing as a team, a cohesive, complete unit since late in the season, week 13, their bye week. The defense, I talked about it before, they forced 4 turnovers against the Saints, and they were the main part of that win on Sunday. That defense came up huge. Without those 4 turnovers, without even 2 of those turnovers, I think the Saints would have had that game. Rushing will be very important in this game, both on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. Fournette has really come alive. He has 156 yards in 2 playoff games and a touchdown as well. And so he's playing very well. I think he kind of sparked a little something under Jones's butt there, and he picked up a good amount of yards on Sunday as well. The big thing that I saw from their game against the Saints was that they did not have a single receiver that was over 50 yards. That's crazy. The big 4, Godwin, Gronk, Evans, and Brown, they combined for 61 yards through the air and a touchdown by Mike Evans. Mike Evans only had 1 catch too. That was a touchdown pass. That's crazy. That's crucial. They need to get their big 4 going if they want to win this game. Especially in Lambeau Field. This is going to be this is the story of stories. This is the NFC championships that I dreamed about as a kid. If I heard Lambeau Field, I was there. If I heard Lambeau Field in January, I was there. If I hear Lambeau Field for an NFC championship game, I wish there were fans there. That would be this is the ultimate home field advantage for the Green Bay Packers. And I'm here for it. I love it. In week 6 in Tampa Bay, Tampa won 38-10. Now, a lot of people probably remember this game as one of the worst games the Packers played all season, and that's because it was the worst game that they played all season. Aaron Rodgers went 16 of 35 in that game. 160 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Tom Brady went 17 for 27, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, they combined for a total of 49 yards and a touchdown. Ronald Jones alone had 113 yards in that game and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers was sacked 5 times in that game. Tom Brady sacked 0 times. So this was quite a lopsided affair in week 6, and it was something I really attribute to the Packers season. I think this game was one of the turnaround points for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, because before that they were playing very well, but Aaron Rodgers didn't look like he had any any chemistry with any other receiver other than Devontae Adams. And after this game, I remember saying it, his attitude looked quite bad with his receivers for the next few games after this, and something just clicked, and he has been spreading the ball around really well, still hitting Devontae with those big numbers, but they have really started to click since this shellacking in week 6. This game is going to be very different than week 6, I believe. Brady and company, they've been great since week 13, their bye week. Rodgers and company, I just said it, they found amazing chemistry. You got an icy Lambeau Field. Snow is a possibility. It's going to be in the low 30s temperature-wise, and that's going to play a major factor for a team coming from Tampa. Tampa's going to need a running game here in this cold weather, and Green Bay, they have the defensive line to stop them. Of course, Cam Akers ran all over them on Saturday, but I think Green Bay can possibly stop them. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams really need to get it going on the ground. They can't have a 49-yard combined performance again if they want to beat the Buccaneers. And this offensive line needs to step up the way they did against the Los Angeles Rams. If this offensive line plays like they did on Saturday, they're going to end this game with 0 sacks, with Aaron Rodgers having a clean jersey. It's going to be, it would be incredible if they can do that. But if they did that to the Rams, they can do that to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers defensive line is not better than Los Angeles. In terms of edges to this game, I think this is going to come down to the defenses and how the defenses can play. I've talked about Green Bay's defense. They haven't let up any more than 286 yards passing. And I really give the edge to Green Bay here, taking on Tom Brady. Tom Brady has not looked as impressive in the playoffs as we've seen him in the past. I really don't think so. He has been very, very, very much helped that his running game has all of a sudden come into fruition and decided to play a few games this season. I really don't think there's any voting against the more than likely MVP in Aaron Rodgers here. I think Rodgers is going to throw a couple touchdowns. Aaron Jones is going to run in one. Who knows? Rodgers might run in one too. Tom Brady, he's going to struggle in the cold. I've always seen Tom Brady play in the cold. He's always been kind of iffy in these colder weather games. I don't think he's going to be able to get it done. I don't think he's going to be able to take an NFC team to the Super Bowl this year. And I've said it before, said it week after week. Every time I say it, I say I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. But the recipe to defeat Tom Brady is to get him on his keister, sit him on his butt. Don't let him settle down in the pocket. And I think Green Bay is going to be able to do that. And that recipe is even more effective in the cold. Imagine a 43-year-old man, albeit he's in better shape than I ever will be. But if he's hit hard in this just severe cold, he's going to really feel that, and that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to watch out for, because usually you want a lot of pressure on Tom Brady, but pressure every now and then might even be enough in the kind of weather we're expecting. I think he's going to struggle. I think Green Bay is going to get a few sacks here, at least 3, and I think the Packers are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to win this game 26-17. All right, now, who is going to join the Packers? Let's take a look at the fight going on in Kansas City. We got the Bills taking on the Chiefs for the AFC Championship. This is a clash of two of the best offenses this season, in my opinion. Josh Allen has done a great job with Buffalo, and of course Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are great, but they've been on a little bit of a slump in terms of Kansas City numbers. This is the first time in years, and the longest streak in years, I think 3 games, where the Kansas City offense has put up 22 points or less, which is crazy. And again, they only won on Sunday by a margin of, I think it was 6 points, 22-16 or 20, so 5, 6, or 7 points. Again, underneath that 7-point margin, which brings their streak to 8 wins in a row where they have won by a margin of 7 or less. Biggest storyline in this game, though, is Patrick Mahomes. And when is he not the biggest storyline in one of these Chiefs games? However, this time it's for injury reasons. Is he going to be good enough to play on Sunday? And all signs right now, from what I've seen and what I could research, say that he is most likely going to be able to go. What if he can't go? Then you got Chad Henne in at quarterback, most likely. Unless Andy Reid decides to play someone else. I don't know the other quarterback they have in that room, but Chad Henne would be starting in an AFC Championship game. Didn't think I'd ever be able to say that. Mahomes against the Browns, he was 21 for 30, 255 yards, a touchdown pass, and a touchdown run before he went out with the injury. I've heard some things where they say it was a concussion, it wasn't a concussion, it was a pinched nerve. I'm not too sure what happened, but from the official report, it looks like it says a neck or a concussion and his toe. If you remember, he hurt his toe a few possessions before he was tackled hard to the ground and came up woozy. Darrell Williams, I don't know why the Chiefs continued to go away from this guy, but he played pretty well. And he continues to play well in the playoffs. He had 78 yards on the ground. No touchdowns, but the runs that he had looked really good. And he might be key because Le'Veon Bell showed up on the injury report on Thursday, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still a big question mark. So Chiefs defense is playing well. They're making turnovers when it counts and when it's needed. They held Nick Chubb to only 69 yards and Kareem Hunt to 32 yards, which is pretty good. It's not great, but it is pretty good, I think. I do think it's a lot to do with the fact that Nick Chubb only had 13 rushing attempts. The Browns really abandoned the run quickly, and I think that's a big reason why they lost that game. There's been a lot of talk about officiating in that game as well. And yes, I think that the play that is in question, the Daniel Sorensen helmet-to-helmet tackle in the corner of the field, the play that's in question, I believe that it was just for the referee at least, it was a bang-bang play, and he had to make the call whether or not it was good. 9 times out of 10, even in regular season play, I don't see a play like that where players are diving towards a pylon. You don't usually see plays like that being flagged. It's usually the helmet-to-helmet rule is taken into account when there's defenseless players, there's a passing sort of situation there with defenseless receivers, the quarterback, even like inside running plays and even some outside running plays. Running backs and defensive players are lowering the heads all the time. So I really think that the refs made a bang-bang play. Do I think that sort of play should be reviewable? It's my personal opinion. I don't think it should be reviewable. I think it's easy to call anything when you have slow motion at your fingertips. No one came up with an injury. I think it was just a hard play, And yeah, I understand that people are mad about that. I understand player safety as well. And I'm a huge proponent for player safety, but I'm also a huge proponent for letting the players play, especially in playoff games. If it was the offensive player trying to get into the end zone upright and it was a dirty helmet-to-helmet hit, sure. Both players diving towards the corner of the field, though, I think it was not necessarily the 100% right call, but I will agree with the referee. If he called a helmet-to-helmet play there too, I would have agreed with the referee in that situation. One of those plays where I think the call on the field is what I go with, and I trust the official to make the right decision from what he sees in a game standpoint. Anyways, I've gone on too much about that. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. They shut down Lamar Jackson and the Ravens even before Lamar went down with a concussion. They really shut down the Ravens in a really weird game. It's a game where you think that the running game would really flourish because of all the weird wind going on in that game. You had 4 missed field goals total by 2 of the best kickers in the league in Bass and Justin Tucker. And you know when Justin Tucker misses 2 field goals to start the game that it's going to be a weird game. Josh Allen, he went 23 for 37 through the air, 206 yards, and a touchdown pass. He also had a touchdown run, I believe. Devin Singletary only had 25 yards rushing, though. So that's kind of weird. In such a windy game, the Bills continued to just sling it. However, the Bills ran it once the entire first half, and a lot of that was due to the complete dominance that the Ravens defense had over the run against Derrick Henry the week before. This offense needs to be better. There's possibility of rain in Kansas City this weekend, so we'll see if they're going to be able to throw the ball as well. It doesn't look like it's going to be too windy. Buffalo was just weird, the swirling winds, and you saw a lot of throws that Josh Allen usually makes just get away from him, or even punts that hung up there, and it was such a weird game to watch. But the most impressive aspect of their win, and we haven't been able to say this too much about Buffalo this season, but I think the most impressive aspect of their win on Saturday night was their defense and the way that they corralled Lamar Jackson. I was just amazed at the defensive line and their discipline in their lanes. Even when they're pass rushing, if you saw that a lane was opening up, I saw one time the defensive end was coming up and they saw Lamar Jackson kind of take a step forward, and he filled that running lane immediately. He stopped when he was doing an edge contain and he came down and met Lamar Jackson. It was very well done, and that really needs to be done again, because Patrick Mahomes is very similar in his style of scrambling, where he likes to find the lanes and he likes to get out of the pocket and throw the ball and find extra space and back up a little bit. You saw Lamar back up at times and lose more yardage because he was trying to find space and the Bills just weren't giving them anything. So if Buffalo can continue to do that and take away the space that Patrick Mahomes will try to look for, I think they have a really good chance in this game. The Week 6 game, the Chiefs won 26-17. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he ran for 161 yards that night. Can Darrell Williams do the same thing against the Bills? I don't know. The Bills defense really did a good job shutting down the running game with the best rushing team in the league on Sunday. I don't know if Darrell Williams will be able to do it again. However, the Bills had the luxury of only having to focus really on a run game with the Ravens, as the Ravens passing game wasn't too scary to go against. We'll see. Can Josh Allen bounce back from that Week 6 game? He only went 14 for 27, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick as well. So we'll see what happens. This is a very interesting matchup. I think the Bills have proven themselves a lot this season, especially in primetime slots. And the Chiefs know They know the pressure of an AFC Championship game now. This is their third straight time hosting an AFC Championship game. Props to the Chiefs organization, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, all of them over there. They have really built an amazing football team, and it's proven the fact that they have hosted 3 straight AFC Championship games. Props to you guys. With Mahomes banged up, I think Allen might actually have the upper hand here. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes is going to come out and look. I don't know if he's going to get re-injured in the first quarter of this game. I just don't know. I don't know the nature of his injury. The coaches have been rather hush-hush about him and his status. All I know is that he's limited practice. He's getting limited practice in, and who knows what's going to happen come Sunday. But I do give Allen the upper hand in that regard, because I think that I'd take a healthy Josh Allen over an injured Patrick Mahomes, depending on what goes on, because a lot of what Patrick Mahomes does is his natural athleticism and being able to escape. And if he's a little banged up with his toe and with whatever neck and head injuries are going on, then who knows what he's going to be able to do. If Mahomes plays, though, I think it will be close. If he doesn't, it's still going to be close, because I trust in Kansas City's coaching, and I think Chad Henne is up for the occasion here. The Bills' D is much better than Kansas City's. I just have to say that they have much better players, in my opinion. They have a better secondary, and I think they have some really good game plans that worked really well against the same sort of style of quarterback as Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see what goes on. If with Josh Allen, I think he's going to throw at least 250 yards, make it 3 touchdowns in this game. And I think Buffalo's rush game is going to continue to struggle. I think they'll have less than 75 yards, although Singletary might throw in a touchdown there. On the other hand, I think Mahomes is going to play very well. If he does come in, he'll get at least 250 yards as well, and a couple touchdowns. But I think Buffalo should be able to keep him in the pocket, and I think Buffalo should be able to corral the rushing attack as well. We will not see another 161-yard performance against this Buffalo defense. Who do I choose, though? What do I do? I just sat here for about 20 minutes trying to think who to go for. Who do I pick? And my heart and my head says that I should pick Kansas City, but they have so many injuries going on right now. Their receiving core is great. Their defense is okay. It's pretty good. But my gut is telling me to go with the Buffalo Bills. My gut right now is jumping through tables. I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's a close call. But I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to take on the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. And I think the Bills take this one 27-24. Whew, that's a hard one to take. These are some hard games. Like I said, I am putting as much unnecessary pressure on myself as I can for all of you in order to try to make this a perfect run. I'm hoping it is. Who knows? Let me know what you think about these. Hit me up on Instagram at Harvey's Huddle or on Twitter at Harvey_Huddle. Always open to hearing feedback, and you can also check out my YouTube channel. Harvey's Huddle is the channel name. Enjoy this weekend. This is going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we've got this weekend, and then the next weekend will be, I think they're calling it the Pro Bowl celebration. And then we have the Super Bowl. So buckle up. This is going to be a great conference championship weekend. We've got Brady versus Rodgers, Mahomes taking on Josh Allen and the Bills. Let's see where it takes us. My prediction, Green Bay taking on Buffalo in Tampa Bay. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Jackson Harvey. This has been Harvey's Huddle. Take care and have a great conference championship weekend.